All right, number 8, unfortunately, I hit the stop button instead of pause, so I've already written on my copy. But an oil well contractor drills a shaft 7 meters deeper into the ground every 2 hours, which graph has a slope that best represents this rate. Okay, so there's a few things. I went ahead and cubed it. I circled 7 meters. Deeper is telling me that it's moving down, okay, into the ground every, which is a P word, every 2 hours. Okay, that's telling you where your variables are. 2 hours, we're finding a unit rate. This says which graph has a slope, and I know for graphs we can use rise over run, but right now let's look at our verbal, okay? We know for our verbal to find a slope or the unit rate of meters and hours, we can use k equals y over x, okay? So my y variable is meters because time is always our x, it's independent. So I plugged in 7 on top. It's negative because moving deeper means we're going down, okay, in every 2 hours. So negative 7 divided by 2 is negative 3.5. So our unit rate, we're looking for a graph that's going down negative 3.5 units or meters per hour, okay? So we're going to go match some graphs. All right, if you notice, all of the 3 possible ones all have a negative slope. The other one, okay, this is not a positive or a negative slope. Actually, if it's perfectly horizontal, this has a slope of 0, okay? If you do a y over an x, okay, my y is 0, my x is 0, okay? My negative, what is this? Negative 3.5 over 1 is negative 3.5. Wait a minute. That's what's wrong. I'm trying to do a proportional equation on a non-proportional graph. This does not go through our origin, okay? Horizontal line means this has a slope of 0. All right, let's go back and look at our negatives. So our negative slopes, okay, we're looking for one that's going down, negative 3.5 per hour, okay? When you test your graphs, you need to use your rise over run on each of them, but let's look for what's reasonable, okay? Negative 3.5 per hour. So here I'm going to find hours. At 1 hour, negative 3.5. Okay, it should be somewhere up here. That might be a little too far. Oh, wait, no. But from 0 to negative 5, that's a jump of negative 2.5. Okay, so negative 3.5 is actually going to be farther down here. Okay, so this one's close, but possibly not quite. The next one at 1 hour, okay, our y is going by, that's weird, negative 17.5. Okay, so what's halfway between 0 and negative 17.5? Well, half of negative 17.5, oops, is negative 8.75. So if you do 8.75 plus 8.75, you'll get 17.5. All right. So if this is negative 8, negative 3 should be way up here. Okay, so this one's not as close as the first one, but all right. The last one says at 1 hour, our graph is up here. All right. This line is between 0 and negative 10. I know halfway between those two is negative 5. So yeah, negative 3 should be before that first line. So this one seems pretty reasonable. Okay. I'm going to use my rise over run to test. So here's a pretty point. Okay. And really, I don't see an absolutely perfect pretty point on the rest of this graph. I can still see the intersections where they each go. This one should be a pretty point, but if you were going to choose one, you should have chosen this one. It's the most pretty before you get here, okay? And you can use either. This one's actually going to give you about 3.54 or something. So I'm going to use this outside as my triangle, my right triangle. And my y's, I go from 0 all the way to 10. And then from my 0 all the way to negative 35. Okay. So my rise, how far up or down I went down. So it's negative. And I go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jumps. And remember, our unit is negative 5. So 7 jumps. Oh my cat did not like that. I apologize. All right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, negative 35 over, okay, from 0 to 10. And we're just counting by ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, we just went over 10. Well, negative 35 over 10, if you check it, gives you negative 3.5. Okay. Even if all these decimals were throwing you off, you could have found which ones were reasonable, and then you need to check it with that slope. Even though it's negative, it still has the same rise over run process. I hope this clarified some things. If you're still stuck on your example problem, please just raise your hand and ask.